Hi, Monica.
Hello, AJ.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Yeah, there are a few people today
Yeah,
joining in.
I did not pay attention and I just got the text. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking, oh, okay. I
yeah,
wanted to,
there are 9 or 10 people joining today, which is good. We'll have a good class.
great. Thank
Uh,
you.
Hi, Dimitri. You're still on mute, Dimitri. Now it looks like his stuff is frozen. His screen kind of froze, it looks like.
Oh, that's right. Yes, multitasking like crazy. All right.
Yeah. And you're I think you're
Still,
even your
yeah,
screen is
my
yeah, your
connection
connection
is,
may be bad. Yeah.
yeah, my connection is having trouble.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my new cable modem.
Oh, gotcha.
So now I'm just on Wi-Fi.
Is that is that is that Rod? Doesn't look like Rod. It says Rod Hibner, but doesn't look like Rod. Oh, you
That's-
are. What happened to your hair? What? Well, you cut your hair. You are on mute, Rod.
How about now? Am I coming through?
You're coming through now.
All right.
You look
Hi,
like you're
guys. How
having
are you?
fun somewhere.
You know, it was my sister-in-law yesterday who observed that I'm working way too much and like fix yourself before your wife divorces you.
Huh.
So Karen and I are at Selva Beach, near Santa Cruz. Aptos.
Oh, nice. Are you having fun? What are you sitting on? What is that? Oh, okay, okay. That's all right. That's like a little restaurant there. Gotcha. Yeah. And then you cut your hair too. Well, just have fun, Rod. I mean, why are you joining this? I can take care of this, man.
Oh, why don't maybe we'll compromise. I'll hang for the first little bit, and maybe I can do my piece or I can share my things, and I can take off and let you finish the details.
Okay. And then maybe you can come towards 2 o'clock and wrap it up, maybe 5 minutes before 2, and answer some questions if people have.
Okay.
That would be cool. Yeah, I think we have 8 or 9 signed up, so we'll just give it a couple of more minutes.
Are they all Keller Williams?
I didn't ask that question.
Okay.
I don't know whether it went out to outside our company. So
Okay. There's Monica. Hi, Monica.
Hi, Rod.
I see Lucy's there. I see Priyanka, Dohi,
Hi.
Rachna. Hi, guys.
Hi, Ratner. Hi, Ajay.
Hi, AJ.
Yeah.
Hey, Dohi. How are you guys doing? I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Present mode.
I stopped the video.
No worries. Okay, so I think I guess we can start now since we are 2 minutes into it. So let me share my screen. Okay, give me a minute, guys. Okay. Present. And share screen. Gotcha. There we go. Okay, can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So Rod, do you want to say in a few words before we start?
Sure. So welcome everybody. I guess I'd like to ask, since we can't tell, is there anyone that is not with Keller Williams? If you could chat in the box, let AJ know, or just open your mic up, that would be helpful. Because we may get into some vernacular that's just in our company, and we want to make sure that we don't leave you in the dust. So I want to welcome everybody. AJ and I put this virtual open house together right when the pandemic started. What, a year ago, right, AJ?
Yeah, oh,
So
it's been a year now.
it's been a way. So is my audio coming across through my mask? You can hear me okay?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a little bit muffled, but we can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bear with me. I'm at a public place outside, and I just want to be respectful of the COVID stuff. So I felt a need for my sellers who had listed with us before COVID hit. And it's like, what? No open houses? How are you going to sell my house? So I went to the smartest guy in our office on technology. I said, AJ, help. Can we put something
No,
together?
I'm not the smartest guy.
And so we did a lot of, AJ taught me a new word. It's called labbing, which means you try something. Oh, that doesn't work so well. Let's do this. Let's do that. And we came up with a really good program. However, AJ is always reinventing, and we have actually, we're going to talk about the new and improved version that is so much easier than we first introduced our virtual open house. So I might just ask if people can open their mics up, especially for the first, if you've been here for the first time with AJ and I. Why would you even want to do a virtual open house? I'd love to hear what you guys think. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, anybody can jump in and just ask, hey, what is the purpose that brought you to this class today?
I think it's a must know skill, and you have to know how to do it. Although I don't have the experience doing any one of them, but I feel this is really essential during this pandemic time, but also maybe after the pandemic is over, this is still very useful.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Monica. You are right. Even after pandemic, we may have some use of this technology. It might be a little bit more limited in cases that we use it, but I think it will be useful in certain cases. Anybody? Go ahead, Rob.
No, I thought everyone had contributed. I'll be quiet for a second.
No, I just giving a couple of minutes to other people to chime in. Anybody else what is their objective of coming to this class?
I'm gonna have a listing presentation, and I want to show the seller that I'm different with other agents, so I can provide more technique for the listing. So
Excellent, Dohi. And I think I can speak for Rod that he did that in his listing presentation, and that got him a very sweet listing. Actually, that became one of the differentiator for him for getting the listing. Rod, if you want to talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, that's exactly right, AJ. So we're going to show you some slides that work with AJ. We're happy to share so you can use it in your listing presentation. But it was a differentiator. And the reason is that these particular sellers were buying a home in Los Angeles, and they could see how inconsistent people were. They have 3 young daughters. They were just scared about being in people's homes and people not following the protocol. So when I shared this as part of the presentation, they interviewed 5 agents to sell their home, and they said that was one of the reasons that they selected the Wolf Group was because of our virtual open house. They just didn't want their home to be the cause of spreading COVID. So it's a very short-term thing. This COVID thing's going to go away, but I agree. I think we're going to operate differently as a result of COVID. We got a whole bunch of new things like the Zoom we're using today. I mean, I imagine more and more listing presentations, buyer presentations being done totally over Zoom, in an agreement to work through that medium. So the other thing that we wanted to do, and AJ, I want to turn this back over to you, is the reason that you might want to do this, in addition to securing and differentiating yourself for a listing, is if you are a buyer agent and want to meet people, this was, especially if you're newer in the business, a key way to generate income was to host an open house. Well, you can't do that today. So I wanted to offer our listings, and I will continue to do so. We have 5 listings that are coming up in the next 3 months, and I'll continue to offer them to the office. And if you're interested in this, we just at the right time, let me know. So generating leads for buyers is another, I think, great reason you might want to consider doing this. So
Right.
AJ, tell about the success you had with our version 1.
Yeah, so I was more focused on the buyer side when I started this with Rod. Rod was very much focused on the listing side. He had a listing coming last year. I think it was Minnesota or no, it was actually another Willow Glen listing that you had, Rod. And so he wanted to show the seller that, hey, he's doing beyond what other agents are doing, just like you, Dohi, are thinking about doing, right? And so, but my objective always has been, I'm a newer agent, was to get buyer contacts, right? And that had dried up because no open houses. So I decided to do this for his listing, for some other listings to collect client. And I didn't expect to have quick success in this because it's a long-term game. And you just find people and then you have to go and show them houses. You have to make that personal contact. But it is pretty amazing, to my surprise, almost about in the month of May last year or June, I did a virtual open house in a home in Los Altos. And there were only like 3 or 4, this was version 1.0, where I was at the house. And I was doing the virtual open house. This was a listing from Dave Clark, and one couple showed up and they stayed with me for about 20 minutes. And about 3 months later, I sold them a $3.2 million house. So, and I just picked them up purely. I did not know them at all. I just picked them up from virtual open house. So, and people ask me, hey, what's my objective? Come on, if you're going to sell a $3.2 million house by meeting somebody on a virtual open house and with full commission, I will keep doing this till the cows come home, right? I mean, I'll just keep doing it. Come on, it's just, it is no brainer to me because I can pick up leads, and any of these leads can convert into a sale. I will tell you this. I just 3 weeks ago, I picked up a buyer, and she is absolutely hot, like buying a house in Sunnyvale. I'm showing her houses right now, and purely picked it up on virtual open house. So it's just, it works. It absolutely works. If we have our scripts down, if we have our, I mean, the whole steps down, and we come very professional, and we come from contribution to the buyer, man, it absolutely works. So just, I mean, I don't need to sell more. I keep doing this. Rob asked me to do this for the office. I said, I'll be more than welcome to do it for the agents, because I think there is real benefit to doing virtual open houses.
AJ,
So,
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, how did you promote your virtual open house?
Good question, Priyanka. So I am going to cover this, Priyanka, in the presentation, but I'll give you a very short answer. Every which possible way that you can. So let's say if you are doing it for somebody else, let's say Dohi has a listing and Dohi or Rob Hibner allows you to do a virtual open house on their listing. So they will put that on MLS open house, virtual open house field, your name and when you are doing it, as well as you can then do your own promotion on Facebook social post, as well as Facebook paid ad. I do all of the above, actually. Okay.
Thank you.
So just to get more people in through the door on that on that virtual open house. Okay. Any other comments before we start into the presentation? I know you guys are. I want to leave some time at the end to have these discussions as well. So if there are no more comments, then let's jump into it. We'll share these strategies. Why do this? We just discussed these, that as to why, you guys have shown what your objectives are, whether it is for listing or whether it is for buyer side. We kind of know why we are doing this, right? So we know what our objectives are. And I don't think we have set up a poll, but that poll was based on what you, why are you doing this? What are the things that you think virtual open house is helpful for? So let's talk about this virtual open house flow, right? So what you need to do in a virtual open house, if you are, let's say if you want to do the buyer side, and this flow chart is based on the buyer presentation, but on buyer side of things, if you want to do it as when you want to get buyer leads, right? So what you want to do is you want to set up a time with listing agent to tour the house, preferably before it is coming to your market, if this is not your listing. So typically what I will do is agents that I know, which is Rod Hibner, or whether it's Dave Clark, or whether it is Kathy Clark, people who have a bunch of listings, whether it is Melissa Hall, whoever that is, I'll reach out to them and I'll ask them, hey, do you have a listing coming in the area that I'm interested in, and then the type of the house that I'm interested in, and can I do a virtual open house for your listing? Virtual open houses are good to do in the first week. People are very excited about listings in the first week when the listings come out. And that's when you have a chance of getting getting a lot more visitors to the virtual open house. And then sometimes the listing agent doesn't even know what a virtual open house is. So you have to sell to the listing agent why they should look at doing virtual open house. Two things I will tell you. One thing is that listing agents don't want you in the house at the time that other agents are showing the house, doing your virtual open house. So you want to tell them that, hey, I will not be at the house doing virtual open house when during the time I'm doing the virtual open house. That is the first thing they want to, because they don't want to take away time from actual buyer agents bringing their buyers to the listing. That was one of the biggest challenges of virtual open house version 1.0, because it took time away from the listing. And as you know, in this hot market, people are just, killing each other. Almost agents are like just trying to getting into the house is a problem right now. Getting a appointment to show the house can sometimes be challenging right now. I've seen people showing houses all the way from 7 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, some of the houses. So so you can't go to the listing agent and say, hey, I'm going to occupy this house on a Saturday for 3 hours, when that is the time which is the most popular time for buyer agents to bring their thing. So that's the first thing you want to say. And then the second thing you want to tell is that, hey, I'm not taking away the time, and your listing is getting the marketing. Somebody who wants to come in through a virtual open house still gets the exposure to your listing. Your listing is getting exposure in the market. So those are the two things you want to tell the listing agent, and try to explain to them as to why you will not be at the house. So you want to set up a time with the listing agent to tour the house. You want to go to the house preferably before it hits the market. I usually take multiple short 30 to 45 second videos of all area of the property using a stabilizer device. And I'm going to show you a stabilizer device. So this is a stable, hang on, let me take out my virtual background so you guys can see it better. So this is a stabilizer device right here. And this has been extremely useful so it's about $100 device, and it just, your phone goes in here and it just keeps the camera really steady once it starts. So when you are taking these videos, there is no jerky motion. The buyer who's coming to your virtual open house doesn't get a whiplash looking at your videos. It makes it look very professional when you take those videos, okay? Just this past week, Viviana borrowed my stabilizer device, and I think she's on this training. And she said that it took a little bit of time. She learned a lot. She really enjoyed taking the videos from that stabilizer device. Viviana, do you want to add a comment there?
Yeah. It was interesting how the stabilizers changes everything. You need to learn how to use it. You need to practice. If you want to show the top, you want to show the ceiling, or the floor, you have to move the phone up and down. And sometimes it just, moves. So you have to be very precise. It's so sensitive that I had to practice many times, and I didn't know how much it shows the movement in the video. So you need to check before you go back home. You need to check what you have done. The house I sold was in Newark, so it wasn't that close, and I made a mistake. I had to go back and redo it.
The videos, yeah. So it does require a little bit of practice, but once you get the practice, man, I'm in and out of listings in 20 minutes after taking the videos, 20 minutes or less. It's become so standard for me now. It takes so little time to get that, to do that. So anyways, take short videos, 30 to 50, and then stitch videos together using simple tools like iMovie or InShot, Vimeo, etc. So
AJ, can I interrupt a second?
Yeah.
I think the thing to mention when you're at the property is take videos that are not included in the 3D Matterport. The neighborhood outside, the backyard, maybe even the garage if it's kind of stunning, but the photographer didn't capture it. So look where you can add value that is not in the current listing marketing.
I just want to make one correction, Rod, is it doesn't matter even if the garage is not stunning, because when you're coming from buyer's perspective, buyers want to see everything. So you are doing a service by showing them the garage, what it is right now. I'm telling you how many times I take garages, I take backyards, I take everything. And people are very thankful because they say, hey, I can't see this in any marketing video. You're showing me things about the house that could be important to me. That's like, hey, how does the garage look like? Are they built into the garage and things like that? What does the garage look like? So I would definitely take all the videos, And you can skip through some of the videos because the part of this is that, hey, when you're doing the virtual presentation, you can gauge who is coming to these virtual open houses, and you can fast forward or move. If they're not interested in the garage, you can just move forward on that portion, okay? So again, putting these videos together using iMovies, if you're using an iPhone or if you're using Android, then there might be some tool there. It's actually, once you get practice, it's pretty simple. It takes like 5 minutes to put these videos together. And the way I shoot the videos is I try to shoot it so that I don't have to take out portions of these videos. I just kind of line them up one after the other and then just stitch them together. Because when you have to split the videos and take pieces out because you didn't do a good job, like Viviana said that you had some portions of the videos that you didn't want to use, then it gets a little bit more time consuming. But if you just have, let's say 15 or 10 videos, 10 or 15, and you just have to put it together, that's easy. That's easy. So shoot the video the way you would want to show them, and then put it together so that you don't have to take out any parts of it. Again, takes a little bit practice, but I'm not an expert on taking videos, and I'm still doing okay. So it's doable. Then from there, this takes a little bit more time. You take a little 10 to 15 second clip, whichever portion you like, for your FB ad or your Instagram ad. That is powerful because that's what people will, on your social post, people not gonna see 4-minute videos. They're gonna want to see a 10-second video. So I usually will take 10-second videos, especially Dohi, for your listing. This is pretty critical because if it's your own listing, take the best parts, create a 10-15 second video, which doesn't look like marketing video, which is created by you, and put it on your social post. Rod, you wanted to make a comment here?
No, sorry.
Gotcha. Okay. And so that comes out of the videos that you're making. And I've done this before in there. And then from there, so this is the part which is important. You have to have a Calendly account and you have to have a Zoom account. Calendly or any scheduling software. It could be Equity, it could be Calendly, it could be any web-based scheduling software. Calendly is the most popularly known, but there are others too, right? And then you have to have the Zoom account. Go ahead, Dohi.
Yes. So I'm confused because, about a year ago, I attended also, the Zoom meeting for this virtual open house. At that time, it was a live and you did with the break room or with the lot. So it's not the one, right? It's not the live.
So yes, so this is not the live one. So that's why we talked about version 2.0, right? The version 1.0 was when we were at the house and you didn't need Calendly. You only put the Zoom link and you were there at the house for 3 hours.
Yes.
So remember, Dohi, I was telling you that if you go to a listing agent like Rod today, and I tell him that I'm going to take away 3 hours of the time from his listing on a Saturday, he'd be like, no, he's a nice guy. He may still give it to me, but most of the listing agents will say, no.
Yes.
I don't want open house. Like I don't want to have that time blocked from my listing when agents are showing the house.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to pivot. We had to do masterminding and labbing with me and Rod and a couple of other agents from Compass to come up with a new idea of how to do this. And the new idea was that you do it kind of offline. It's a virtual live tour, but it is offline kind of thing. So you're sitting at your home and doing this, and you're telling the visitor that is coming to your virtual open house that, hey, you took the video, you went to the house, you took the video, you exactly know how the house is, what the house is. You're going to show them the video, but you're going to do the voiceover in real time. So when they come and visit you, you do the voiceover. So these videos that you create don't have any sound on them at all.
So do the Zoom meeting with the prospective buyer.
Correct.
In the certain time frame.
Not in certain time frames. So the reason for using Calendly was So here is the problem I was having, Dohi, because in my first iteration, version 1.0, I was at the house from, let's say, 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yes.
That means I'm blocking that time. I have to go to that house and nobody may show up,
Okay.
right? In my version 1.5, I did the videos, but then I came home and I still put 2 to 5 and I was sitting at home and waiting for them
Okay.
on a Zoom. So I had the video on my desktop. I had 2 to 5 time on MLS listings saying, hey, come in, and then I'll run the video and I'll give you a voiceover of, I'll describe the house to you, right?
Okay. Okay.
There also, there was a little bit of a problem. There were 2 problems
Mhm.
in that scenario. One is I had to still sit for 2 to 5 and maybe nobody shows up, right?
Mhm.
In that time frame. There was a second problem, Dohi. Most of the times what happened was 2 people will show up at the same time or 3 people will show up at the same time, just like an open house.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden, if I am looking for buyers, right? 3 people show up, none of them is now interested in giving me the contact because they have to give it in a public forum, right? On that Zoom chat or something, they have to give me that, right? So they were not, so I would walk away with getting no contacts sometime, okay? So then I came up with this version 2.0 where when I set up Calendly, they have to put their email and they have to put their phone number,
Okay.
right? And the time is fixed. They're fixing a time with me. So I don't need to sit for 3 hours in front of the computer.
Okay.
And I know in advance that they are coming in at this and this time. So I can, and it syncs with my calendar too. So then they only can pick times on the calendar which I'm free.
Okay. How long it will take per the buyer? I mean, the 30
I
minutes?
usually do 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, I do 30 minutes, but here is the other interesting thing I do, guys. I put the Zoom open house on, or the Calendly open house timing on MLS for 10 hours in the day, 8 hours, it doesn't matter. I can put from 11 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening, right? Because then the buyer comes in, he looks at between 11 and 8, what time slots are free for me, because it syncs to my Google Calendar. And then he picks a 30-second, he or she picks a 30-second time slot from my stuff. So to them, it seems like that they can do these things anytime in the day. So that gives them the flexibility. Whenever they are free, they can do it. To me, it works very well because I know exactly when somebody is coming in. It works really well. And the third thing that it is very amazing is you find very motivated buyers this way. Because if there's somebody not motivated, they're not going to set up a time like that.
Right, right.
It works amazing. Rod, you had unmuted yourself. Comments. Yeah, go ahead.
It's not so easy to operate Zoom on an iPhone.
I know.
So you said 30 seconds a couple of times. He meant 30-minute time.
Oh, I'm sorry. 30
seconds.
minutes.
That's okay.
30 minutes. Yeah.
The other thing is you really should think about your time with the prospect to ask questions. Don't worry so much about the house. What you really want to do is establish that you're listening, you're understanding what their needs are, and don't be so attached to the house. That's all I wanted to say. And then
Very good
AJ,
point. Very good point, Rod. I want to add to that a little bit. That's a really great point you said. So I was going to talk a little bit scripts with you guys. I have evolved the scripts of how to do a virtual open house. And what Rod said is absolutely 150% true. It's not about the house. Really is not about the house. It's about you connecting with the buyer, right? So your goal is to gain traction with that buyer. So what you want to do in the 30 minutes is the first 10 minutes, you are just engaging them. So I will give you guys an idea of what I do. So Monica, you'll role play with me, okay? So let's say you come in, right? And Monica, you're coming into that virtual open house. And now the virtual open house is starting, I'm going to say to Monica, hey, welcome Monica to the virtual open house. Tell me, Monica, where did you find this link about my virtual open house?
I saw the link on your Facebook.
Okay, awesome. Monica, we like to understand where these links are coming, because that allows me to reach the maximum number of people. So I always ask people the question, Monica, that where they found. Sometimes they find it on Redfin because they're all syndicated. Sometimes they find it on Zillow. Great. Let me ask you this, Monica.
Yes.
How long have you been looking for a house?
I've been looking for the house about 2 months now.
Okay. And in the area where this house is, in let's say in Santa Clara, let's say this virtual open house in Santa Clara, this area of Santa Clara, is this where you're looking, or are you looking across a lot of different places?
Well, I'm looking particularly in Santa Clara or Milpitas, because it's close to where I work.
Awesome. That's great to know. And your budget, this house is listed, Monica, for 1.5. Is your budget in that range? What's your budget range there, Monica?
It's about what I'm looking for.
Okay. And let me ask you this, Monica. In the 2 months that you have been looking, we know that the market is very, very hot. Have you made offers, Monica, so far?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
And so let me ask you this. So since you made the offer, you used an agent to make the offer. What was stopping you? Because you know that as you are doing this virtual open house, you can even ask your agent to go in person to this house and make an appointment. I'm just curious to understand why you did not use your agent to go look at this house if you were interested in this house.
Well, because I saw the link and I'm just very curious about this house.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
so-
And absolutely. No, I just like to understand people as to what the reasons they have for coming into a virtual open house. Okay, so that's great to know. Okay, so let me give you I'll give you two things right now. Thanks for answering my questions. I'll give you two things, Monica. I'll tell you how I do this virtual open house, and I'll give you a very short sales pitch of mine. I am not the listing agent of this house. Listing agent happens to be a very good colleague of mine. He's in our office, okay? And so whenever his houses come, I ask him, hey, can I do virtual open house? He's very happy to let me do the virtual open houses. Rod Hibner is the listing agent, and he and I work together. He lets me do the virtual open houses, okay? And so then you would ask me, what is my interest, Monica? My interest is in meeting buyers like you. So what I do is, when pandemic started and when the open houses closed and we were not able to do open houses, I had to find a way to meet good clients and good buyers like you, right? So this is my way. I go to the house, I take videos as a buyer would like to see a house, not like marketing videos, which are like the Matterport videos, but things that you would like to see. And then I add my perspective to that when I'm talking to you one-on-one, so that you get an idea of whether this house will work for you or not. Once I show this house to you, if you then want to go in person, then we make an appointment and I take you to see the house.
Okay.
Does it make sense, Monica?
It does make sense, but I have been working with this agent already. So can I still, do I have to go through my agent to contact you? Or
Absolutely. So absolutely. So if you have an agent, then I'm still going to virtually show you the house, because the listing agent wants me to show the houses. But what I am going to do is, then you can go to your agent and go for an in-person showing at that time. So I'll use the remaining time to show you the house, show you and because I had to give my sales pitch to you, Monica, so I gave my sales pitch. If you are happy with your agent, absolutely, you use your agent and you go to them and show them, let them take you to show the house. Rod, you wanted to make a comment.
I do. So let me just be AJ, and this may sound a little snarky, Monica, but I want you to get what's behind it. So how long have you been working with your agent?
I've been working with the agent for about 2 months now.
And how many offers have you written together?
She has been writing the offer for me for twice for now.
Twice. So the snarky, I would find a better way to say this, but I love the opportunity to meet clients that are working with an agent, yet not being successful. So the snarky answer is, well, how's that working for you? But I would say it much nicer, right?
Yeah. So
Because you want to be able to show why you are better at getting clients into escrow than other buyer agents.
buyers and agent. Yeah. So Rod,
So think about that.
Yeah. So Rod, I do that in this class. I didn't want to come across as snarky and then try to do that. But of course, I have a lot of success because I do those things. I actually, in my sales pitch, I tell people why I am, what value proposition I have. Like I do construction. I can tell you in a house what changes you can make, how you can make your house your own. Those are my value proposition, right? So again, the reason I didn't say that is because, and how I get people to be successful when they're coming with me. I didn't say that, Monica, because everyone have their own value proposition, right? And you have to use your value proposition. So completely, again, agree wholeheartedly with Rod. Your goal is to make sure that they are getting full value of their agent that they have to assess that. And if you find any place that they are not, then it is a fair game at that point because you are providing more value than somebody else. Does that make sense? Was this helpful, guys, in doing this this role play? Because I thought that this role play makes it much more real. How was it, Monica, for you?
Yeah, because sometimes a lot of time when I work with the buyer and you ask them, are you with, do you have an agent? And then they will say, some will say yes and some will say no. And for the yes people, I kind of just like for me, that's only for myself. I kind of stop right there because, excuse me, because you already know that they are working with someone. So I just, that is me. That is my question. And also it's my personal problem. I just stop right there. I don't know how to go further. And then, and I don't want to kind of like, interfere with other people's business.
Yeah.
I already have an agent. And so
So
that's
Monica,
very generous of you that you're thinking that way. And I think that's sweet. But you also need to know that the buyer has goals. And if that agent's not helping meet their goals, you need to be comfortable with integrity to say, I value that you've made a relationship with this agent. It sounds like you haven't been successful yet. How you could use this opportunity to have a conversation with them. And maybe they'd be willing to switch. And maybe that relationship's not that loyal.
Yeah.
So again, Monica, you have to explore that because if you don't explore that, you will never get buyers and remember, as Keller Williams agent, we have a lot to offer. We come from contribution. I always tell people that, hey, I always come with contribution. If I'm not providing value to you, then you're not going to use me. I mean, just plain and simple. So you have to have the confidence that you're coming from contribution and you're coming and you're adding value. And so that's what I keep in mind. So that's as Rod said, don't get too hung up on the house. Get hung up on the client that is visiting you, right? Or the prospective buyer that is visiting you. So I spend almost about, Monica, by the way, I spend about 10, 15 minutes doing this, by the way. So, and then what I do is I start the virtual tour. Once I explain to them, and I do tell them about the virtual tour that, hey, I take very detailed videos. These are my own videos. I use a stabilizer device. And then I also tell them that, hey, what time of the day it was taken so that they can see natural light. They can see what's going on, right, with the house. So that way, and before I even start the stuff, if I have a house layout, I'll show them the layout of the house as well on the video, as well as a Google map of where the house is. Because when they come virtually, they exactly don't know where the house is and what other attractions, points of attractions are there around the house. This is something we did, Rod and I did at in the first virtual open house that we did last year also, where we would put a Google map, we'd put all the areas around that and show them what all is there. We would also do a house floor plan, but the reason we would do a floor plan is to tell them where we are in the house, but now you don't have to do that. You just show them the floor plan to get them acquainted with the house, okay? Once you have the Calendly links created, so there is a Loom video that I have, which shows you how to create the Calendly thing for it and how to connect Zoom to Calendly. So Zoom has an integration with Calendly. So what happens is if you tell Calendly that, hey, the location where the meeting is going to happen is Zoom, it will ask you to connect your Zoom account. Once you connect the Zoom account, when people come in and block that 30 minutes with you, they will get an email back with a Zoom link. And that's what they will join. And you will also get an email saying somebody has signed up. Here is the Zoom link on which they are going to join on your stuff. So that makes it extremely easy. It's on your calendar. Let's say somebody booked for today. It's on your calendar. It has a Zoom link in it. They come in, you come in. It's a one-on-one meeting. It is absolutely phenomenal, and wonderful. One of the things I do, Monica, just to give you an idea, and Dohi, is I always keep 30 minutes after open. So I do a 30-minute video because if I find somebody interesting, I let the meeting continue. Because I'm like, hey, I'm almost ready now to make this traction with them at 30 minutes. I don't want to cut them off. So I always block another 30 minutes. So in Calendly, you have an option which says post meeting, keep 30 minutes open. So there is a buffer. There's a buffer setting in Calendly where you can say keep, and I always keep that. I learned the hard way that I needed to keep the 30 minute, because if I am having a good time with a buyer or a prospect, man, I don't want to cut that call. Go ahead, Rod.
I'm being sensitive to the time. If we're really time for questions and answers, I think you have more material to share. We can maybe move along a little bit.
Okay, all right, thanks, Rod. Yeah, let me go ahead. Viviana, I'll take your questions at the end. Okay, is that okay? Are you making a comment?
No. I was going to say it's a great idea to keep the extra time.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so let's go again. This interactive session is good because hopefully they are it's answering some of the questions. Zoom open house, things to do, leveraging your MLS fields, VOH fields. You have to go to your listing agent. If you're a listing agent, you put it for other people. So Dohi, if you have a listing, somebody comes to you in the office and say, hey, Dohi, I want to do a virtual open house for you. Then you will put their link, the Calendly link in VOH field, okay? For either for Zoom or for Calendly, right? Version 1.0 was Zoom directly, now it is Calendly. In public and private comments. They don't allow links in private other than Dohi. For you have to have a separate Calendly link for agents to go show the house, right? Which is completely separate than the virtual open house. So one thing you have to do, guys, for listing agents, this is very, very important thing for listing agents. Rod, for you, for Dohi as well. Do not use the same Calendly for agents to show the houses, book the time and show the houses, and for your virtual open house. So let's say, Dohi, you have a Calendly that you are using for agents to come in and show. You want to keep track of that. You are not part of that, but you're just keeping track of who's coming and who's going, right? But then if you want to do virtual open house, if you use the same Calendly, it will block that time on that Calendly. So what you want to do, and what I have done, is I have taken a second user on Calendly. It's $10 extra. You can do it for a month when you have your listing, and you can cancel it after, and use the second user to do your virtual open house.
Okay.
Very important, okay, guys, very important. So, and this is true for every scheduling software, whether it's Equity or whether it is Calendly, you need to have the second user, okay? You need to use Bitly to shorten your hyperlink. So when you are giving to Rod or Dohi your link, or Viviana for that matter, that you're going to do not use Calendly. Do not use the word Calendly in that link. The reason for that is MLS listings get they get all finicky about you using Calendly scheduling software. So if you use a Bitly, they don't know what you're doing, which is then they don't care. Now, I raised this to Mike Sibilia. They called me about 4 months ago saying, hey, why are you using Calendly to do scheduling? We are supposed to do a virtual open house, not Calendly scheduling. I said, there is pandemic time. We're trying to be helpful by not getting people into this stuff, and you're complaining about me scheduling stuff. I went and took it to Mike because Mike is on board of MLS listings, and he had a talk with them. I haven't heard from them since, but I decided to just use Bitly so that they can't even tell what's going on. And I haven't heard since then from them. What happens is, go ahead.
Could you tell me how to use the Bitly?
Just go to bit.ly, your website, take your Calendly link, put it in there, and then what it will do is it will just shorten it.
Switch, okay.
It will just switch, and then you just copy that and send
Okay.
it. Yeah, you can use Bitly or you can use tiny.url.
Okay.
One of them. What happens in syndicated real estate portals? Real estate portals have become very, very good at picking up your virtual open house fields from MLS listings. So every one of my virtual open house listings, now people find them on Redfin, on Zillow, actually. So it's pretty, and they're instantaneous. So even if you go to, let's say, Rod or Viviana, and the listing is already on MLS active, and you put that VOH field after the fact, it will get picked up in like 5 minutes by Redfin or by Zillow, or 10 minutes, okay?
Is you or Lot had the active listing, which is showing the VOH?
Say that, ask me again, Dohi.
Is you or Rod had the active listing, which is with the virtual open house right now?
Yeah, I did virtual open house for my active listing. Rod doesn't have an active listing right now, but he has 5 coming and he's going to do those. Viviana was going to do that for hers, but it sold before before she had a chance to do it.
Because I was trying to perfect the video. I spent so much time in that video. I learned how to use iMovie to the perfection. I can tell you everything about iMovie, transitions, volume, slowing down, cutting off. Oh my gosh, I know iMovie so well now.
Yeah. So Dohi, I am doing virtual open house every week. This week also I'm doing one for Dave Clark, and I can send you the link, okay?
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. So good surprise from Zillow and Redfin. Rod had this. Now it's all good, Rod. They are picking it up. People are coming to me from Zillow and Redfin. So not a problem at all. Promoting the open house, distinguish live open house from virtual tour. You need to tell people that it's a virtual tour. It's not an open house. Facebook, Instagram, and so on and so forth. And you can blast to agents if you want, or your own personal network. I've seen a lot of big agents now start to do this. Vinicius Brazil is doing a lot. Andy Say is doing this. I'm seeing a lot of agents do this now. They are doing this virtual open house. But hey, me and Rod can claim that we were the pioneers in this. So this is the short video. I'll send it to people. This is a short video. I'll send you guys this presentation also. You guys can look at it after. It's a Google thing. It's just how to set up Calendly and how to set up Zoom with Calendly. Okay. So creating VOH material. This was more for version 1.0. I'm not doing this anymore as much because kind of is not required because it was required in version 1.0, not required too much, but if you want to, you can.
However, this is an example that you can put in your listing presentation to show your sellers.
Yeah, this is the material that you can use. Yes, absolutely. This is this is definitely required. Just showing, oh, Norvell was the first one. Rod, that's one it was. That was the first virtual open house we did. And so how to do that Google map, and then the layout, house layout. You need to have a local copy of video. So when you get that videos and you stitch them together on iMovie, put that, transfer that to your laptop. Don't put it on YouTube, because YouTube videos with Zoom are going to be very jerky, okay? And then your visitors who are coming to you are going to be a little disoriented with that YouTube video. So I would recommend bringing it directly into your desktop from where you're going to do the Zoom meeting, okay?
I had a problem with that. The video was too choppy from a computer.
I don't know about that. Viviana, why it was choppy, because when you were showing it to somebody?
In Zoom, I was practicing with my children.
Yes.
In Zoom, and they say it was so choppy.
Okay, so one of the things you have to do, there is a way around that, is you take that video and you put it on YouTube and then you download. And here is the reason why. The video that you take in iMovie, depending on your phone, could be very big, huge size. So when you put a 6-minute video or 5-minute video, it could be 600 megabyte, okay? When you upload it to Zoom, to YouTube, and you bring it down on your desktop after that, you download from YouTube, it's only maybe 100 megabyte. And so then it'll be less choppy at that point.
Oh, you put it in YouTube and you download it. You don't
Correct.
show from YouTube.
No, you don't show it. Never show it from YouTube. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. YouTube will be very jerky. Yeah. And so, yeah. So, and then set appointment for an in-person showing. That's the goal. Basically, your goal is that, so as Rod said, don't get hung up on the house itself. Your idea is, in fact, a lot of times I use the fact that when they ask me a question, it's like, oh, I don't have that detail. Would you like to go to the house? I can take you to the house and show you that stuff. So that becomes a really
That's
amazing
smart. Oh my gosh, I love that.
So
Now,
yeah,
what's the longest video you ever done?
I don't do more than 5-minute or 6-minute videos. That's it. Do not do any more than that. That's how long was your video, Viviana?
10 minutes.
No, shorten it. You don't want to do that much.
Okay.
Yeah. 30-minute
And
sessions.
you want to leave something, that you would actually have an in-person visit with them.
Yeah, don't be perfect. Like, I know you are a perfectionist, Viviana, but you don't want to be. You want to leave certain things out, kind of things.
Okay.
Purposely, yeah. Master floor plan on hand, pause video multiple. Oh, this is the most important thing. I pause my video so many times. I will purposely stop the video and engage in conversation. And I'll go back on videos. I'll just keep doing that. I never run the video and I'm just having conversations with them as the video is going on. Yeah. Some things I do, I will open just to give them, where you're coming from contribution, I'll open cabinets of the kitchen and I'll take videos inside, because they're not going to see that cabinet inside anywhere, in any video, anything. And people like to see inside the cabinets. I don't know why, but I've heard so many people ask me, hey, how's the cabinet? You know, I'm like, hey, I usually open the cabinet and show you inside. It's these little things, right? It's a lot of fun.
Especially if the house has self-closing drawers.
Yeah, then you definitely want to show that.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun. Anyway, so question answers, we have about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we can wrap it up.
AJ, can you do 2 open houses in what time?
I can do 3, 4 houses at a time, because here is what I do. I have one Calendly. I create 4 events of 4 houses. Let's say Dohi, Rod, Viviana, and Dave Clark have 4 amazing houses coming, right? I can ask all of you to do virtual open house. I will give you guys links. People can come in on any of those houses. The moment I book one slot, then people cannot book that slot. I can do as many houses as you want. The other thing I do, Rod, thanks for bringing this up. I sometimes go ask a listing agent who's not in my office, who has a house next door. I did this for Minnesota. I'll just go next door and I'll say, hey, I want to tour that house. And I'll go take the video of that house. And then when the buyer is there, I'll like, hey, you don't like this house? I have another house that is close by. Do you want to see it? That way, I am just servicing my client. It's not for public consumption. I'm just servicing my client. There's no difference of that or me taking a buyer to the Dohi, go ahead.
So when you put on the MLS, the VOH link, you don't set the time frame.
No,
you
I do set the time frame, but that time frame is the broadest time frame. So I'll start from 11 a.m. and go up to 8 p.m.
Okay.
It doesn't matter to me. It's not like I'm sitting on the computer from 11 to 8, right? They have to pick a time from that slot and book it with me.
Okay.
So I give them the maximum width of time where they have convenience to book a 30-minute slot.
Usually weekend or weekday or so.
I do it.
Why not?
I do it all day. I mean, I start I'm going to start like, let's say, so I'm doing a townhouse in Sunnyvale this weekend, and I'll do the video this afternoon after I finish this call, and I'll start putting it tomorrow. I'll put tomorrow from 11 to 7. I'll put day after, I'll put Saturday, I'll put Sunday. And then what I do is any time that is not convenient to me, I go into my calendar and block that time. So let's say on Saturday, I'm showing houses, I'll block that time. So they can't book with me. So it doesn't matter to me how much ever
So
I can.
AJ, we got just a minute or two left. I suggest you unshare the screen so we can get the gallery view going.
All right.
A
there we go.
number of people are asking for the presentation. Do you have the ability to download the chat, AJ, so you know who's here?
I can ask
Our
Crystal to send
participant
me registration
Okay.
list. Yes.
I saw one asked about the stabilizer model number, so I don't know if you can download the chat to your computer so you can look at
I
the
will.
questions.
I will send this picture. iScan Ready Mobile. I'll send it. I'll send this one.
And I have a different one. They're both great and they're really highly recommended.
I have the same
To
one as
capture
you,
the video.
Rod.
Okay,
Exactly the same.
good,
I
good
just
choice,
copied.
AJ.
Yeah, I copied from you. Yeah.
He's such a smart guy. Remember I told you that?
He is.
Rip off and duplicate. R&D. Yeah.
R&D, yeah.
Yeah, R&D. It's it. Any other last minute questions before we wrap up? Was this helpful, guys? You can unmute your thing and let me and Rod know if this was helpful. What was your ahas from this session,
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you invite people in Facebook to the open house? Do you put an ad in Facebook?
I do. If I'm putting the virtual open house in the Facebook, I tell them, hey, this is my virtual open house link, virtual tour link.
What do you publish in Facebook?
What do I publish? I have done like where, hey, I'm doing a virtual open house on this house, and I put a small video. Come visit my stuff, and I put the
The
link.
15-second video.
Yeah.
That's all? You don't put anything coming soon? You don't do
No, I don't put address. I don't put anything in there. No,
You don't put
I
that-
don't, because I want them to come to my thing and then find out the detail. So.
Or price? You don't put price in ads?
Not really. I don't. I just want them to come. I just put the address. I just say San Jose downtown or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want them to come. Yeah. So what else can I answer? Well, you have
So you
to.
capture more people when you have less information in your ad.
This is very true. Very, very true. Yes.
I see.
So AJ, I'm going to sign off. I just want to thank everyone for coming and good luck to all of you. And AJ's always there to help out.
Yes,
If I can-
please.
Yeah.
Anytime you guys need any help on this, me and Rod are always there. I'm having a lot of fun with this virtual open house. I collect 1 or 2 leads every week with this. I hope you have the same success with this. This is good fun. I mean, I'm enjoying it a lot. So,
Yeah. Lot of good information. Lots.
thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
All
so
right, guys,
much.
go out there and do these virtual open houses. Dohi, if you need to reach me, Monica, just reach out to me, okay?
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you
Thanks.
so
Bye.
much.
Thank you so much. Bye.